So we are back, and we are going to be trying to play some micro stakes on Bovada, which is a poker website. Um, 1 second, I'm going to turn on my light. Normally, we would only play, or normally we would play 4 tables, but we're only going to play 3. And I tried to get it set up so that I could highlight which table was like up at one time. But I was not able to figure out how to do that without 2 monitors, which is what everyone kind of suggested, like, type of setup they have. So over on the right, hopefully this scene isn't too crazy for people to look at. Over on the right up here, we have a $5 Hypermax, or sorry, Hyper Turbo, 400 chips. In the bottom left, we have a 9-player sit and go, and then on the bottom right, we are going to register for another Hyper Turbo. And I will talk through my hands / thought process a little bit, although I'll also kind of be focusing on what I'm doing. We're probably just going to check fold here. He paid money for the opportunity to bluff. We don't have a particularly good hand, and it doesn't play well on future streets. And was that 3/4 pot? Hopefully this doesn't get too laggy, because sometimes we lag out just playing regularly. So here we are going to, if people like open limp, we're going to jam over, especially with the one person sitting out. I think we're going to jam over anyways, because I think he's trying to go after this blind. We have an ace. 25 big blinds is not too much to jam. You know, with in terms of like where you are at that position. Although as a population read, raises are generally a bit stronger because people have a lot of limping strategies. Here we're just going to fold. If he was in the cutoff, we might raise over him, but because an ace plays good when you're short stacked, but I would rather just fold it when we're at the 30 level on the blinds. Obviously would have flopped a pair, but like he can have a stronger ace. It's not too common for people to have really strong aces in their limping range though, and so generally maybe we could like call there and like try. Well, we would have gotten clobbered by that gentleman. We don't really want to. Again, we 3-way queen 6 is not worth defending in any sort of way. So here with this guy raising, we are going to like exploitatively fold here just as a population read, because while this hand, while ace 3 of clubs is like strong enough to play, we don't really want to play it here. Oh, I'm feeling the lag. Yeah, we don't want to play here. This would make a decent hand to squeeze, like in an objective sense, but I think we're just going to flat here in the bottom left table. Look to flop something. We could squeeze with it. Maybe we should have squeezed with it. And on an all-club board, we are... Alright. So now the question is do we want to jam over down here with ace-jack or fold? I think we want to jam. We'll be in bad shape sometimes, but sometimes you get this. Although he has plenty of outs. He doesn't hit any of them. So we will min-raise with ace-king. That's generally going to be our sizing on these when we're short-stacked. So on the hypers, we're going to generally be min-raising. And if someone raises over, we're going to jam. The reason we're like min-raising is it's fairly easy to get it all in. Unfortunate not to not have a squeeze. And 3-way against this flop, yeah, we're gonna fold to this lead. Maybe if it was just like one person leading into us, but we do not need to defend ace-king without a heart multi-way here. It feels bad because we had such a good hand pre-flop, but it's just there's no reason to stay on it. And let's see, this guy, so you can put a note. Oh wait, he's out anyways. We're gonna put a note that he's like leading when he has a good hand. Here in the bottom, we can we almost want to open fold this because, like, we're not going to set mine very well, this short stack, and so fives is not that good. We're just going to check and probably look to fold to a bet here, especially without a diamond. Well, especially three-way. A third size pot is pretty small, but once someone calls, we can let it go. And so I'll try and keep my cursor moving so you guys know what hand or what board I'm talking about, because I'm switching boards. And hopefully this isn't too chaotic. I'm like kind of focused a bit on the poker, so and I guess like less on the OBS. What's going on here? Six deuces, yeah. So the blinds have gone up on this board, and we will be looking to have a strategy that's mostly jamming. Here we can raise call. I think I would prefer the open jam. Raise call might be a little better. In general, with your very strongest hands, you want to raise call, and then you want to raise fold. Well, that's unlucky. And then you want to raise fold some weak hands. It's unlucky for him, I guess. You want to raise fold some weak hands, raise call your strongest hands, and then have a jamming range that has like really high equity but plays poorly post flop. We're just gonna flat here. It's kind of a weird spot where he's like not even raising for. We should have maybe raised to. We're gonna jam over on that one. Not really. And here we are going to raise over the limp. This guy jams into us, but we have top pair. I mean, I don't think he's gonna have a better kicker very often. Yeah, so he just does it with like. And here we are jamming with the jack 7. We have fairly good equity. We are gonna bet. We're just gonna check call on this board. Here we're gonna jam. Generally, you're jamming ace rags once you get a little deep. 14 big blinds might be a little too much. Okay, here we're gonna look to bet really big. We're gonna overbet. We picked up a bunch of equity, and nobody bet. We're gonna raise and maybe call here. It's probably actually an open jam with the king 6 suited. I was just thinking about this over here. And this is a pretty bad board for what we got going on down here. Yeah, we're just gonna fold, even though this is an insanely, like 1-6 pot bet is like insanely small. And we're in the money over here. I think we can shove. Was this... Oh no, the lag, please. So we're going to raise over with the kings. This guy had a 3x raise, so generally people's ranges are pretty strong when they're 3x raising, just as a like population exploit thing. So we expect him to re-raise a fairly high frequency on this bottom left board, but he doesn't. Okay, so we're just going to call. It sucks if he's like, okay, he's just fucking around. We're gonna jam over whatever he does with this ace 5 or call a jam. Ooh, the 3x raise is just like so netted, but like I think we're just... So when they 3x raise, like generally they're just way stronger than they ought to be. And wow, we have him... He's 3xing with ace 4 suited. Crazy. Much better as an open shove. We'll try and keep in mind that he's not open shoving his weak aces, and so his shoving range is either probably stronger, or it's just going to be different if he's not shoving those weak aces. We'll get an all-in with king 8, especially if he's just like limping. We're just going to jam over, and hope we have a little bit of fold equity, and we're ahead. Down here, we can open jam this, and we can also just fold it. I think I like just open jamming. It's a lot of people to jam through, so like when they call, they'll have decent equity, so maybe we shouldn't be mucking about. In the top right, we are going to call and then jam unless there's an ace on the board. We're going to check fold here. Wow, such a small bet. We're going to call the bet. And we're going to look to lead on advantageous draws, which none came up, so we're just going to check fold to like a reasonable size bet. And we assume he's doing the thing where he bets small and then he bets bigger on the next thing. We'll try to keep in mind what he did there for later on in this top right board. And we're going to raise fold to 7-9. We maybe could have open jammed it for this many. We're going to be jamming over whatever he does here. Really weird of him to have that 3x. I think he doesn't play too much short stack. We're going to all in the bottom right. This is too weak in the top right, and this is also too weak in the bottom left. Yeah, this guy doesn't, in the top right doesn't like play short stack heads up if he's 3xing. Because, alright, well, the 2x we're still going to fold to it. We're going to jam down here in the bottom right. If we have a stronger ace, we're going to raise call. Or much stronger than this. Maybe ace 10 we start raise calling. This is kind of like getting ugly, because we know that he's like 2xing and 3xing. But so far all of his 3x's have been like pretty strong hands. So we're just exploitatively folding. We're going to rip it in with the queen 6 off. I think it's a little bit borderline, but we'll be ahead of random 2 cards pretty often. And we will get it in with this. I don't know what this min-raise means, if it's a stronger range or a weaker range, but I guess maybe it's weaker than the 3x range. This seems like a really... This guy seems very not very good. I don't think we can rip in... It's been a while since I've done my shove ranges. I don't think 10 deuce off is a rip for 6. This is a rip, though. And, I mean, hopefully he's just going to fold again, but... I mean, we could look to, like, stop and go him. And we have, like, pretty good equity here. Alright, we will just rip this in. The 5-4 suited is excellent hand for this. Especially because we think he might be making mistakes. Yeah, I don't think you can fold, like... I don't know, your folding range is like, I don't even know if you can fold anything for 3 blinds. Hopefully this isn't lagging too much. We will call it all in, obviously. And he has like a super strong hand, and we have like a million outs, which is probably too many. A lot of action in the bottom left. I don't think we want to play this into a 3-bet, so we'll just fold. Otherwise, relatively decent hand. Hopefully the OBS is keeping up with what's going on. Or is it lagging? I guess I'll find out later. Oh, I'm lagging hella hard. My kingdom for a computer. Okay. So we're losing some all-ins, some important all-ins here on the top right corner. We will just jam over this soft jam, and we're going to jam for, what is this, close to 10 blinds, the queen 7 off. I think he's probably overfolding. Calls with 6s, and it looks like he's going to get unlucky here. Yeah, sucks to be him. Yes, we would like to sign up for another. I guess we're all in here and just hoping to pip something. And then in the bottom left, if we can stop lagging, we have... Yeah, generally when you open a new... When you reg a new tournament is kind of when the lag kind of spikes in. I'm guessing I'm maybe lagging a lot. I'm just checking out the OBS. Oh, I guess I want to hide my face behind my face here, maybe a little bit. So it's not just like 2 of me. We managed to win in the bottom corner, and we're gonna jam with deuces. Bottom left, 8 deuce suited is not good enough to play. Let's see, how are we doing? Let's click the details button. We're first of 8. haven't been paying very close attention, just been, for the most part, folding hands. And so we don't really have very many reads on these guys because we haven't been paying close enough attention, and we are out on the bottom left. We will not sign up for the next table because we know that we're already signed up for the next one, so we'd be signing up for the next one, and maybe slow things down a little bit, or could also sign up for, oop, didn't want to close out of it. We're going to be folding in the bottom left. And going to put in on our spreadsheet. Oop, not that. Oh, I forgot I was uploading a video too. That's not ideal. So we like to track how we're doing. Yeah, so far we're down $2 on the month, but that's like kind of meaningless in hyper turbos because they're pretty volatile, and they're also just fast, which is the main reason we're playing them. But we lose, or we fail to be in the money in 60% of them. Could sign up for the $1 hyper instead of the 5s. Could just pay attention and try and get some reads on these guys. It's a little early to like care too much. And our table pops. And we are lagging, of course. Hopefully the recording doesn't lag. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like. If it's going to be like just super scuffed or what. So we have some open limpers, and we have a nice hand to limp along with. This is an exploitative limp. We expect to get squeezed a fair amount and then just have to fold a fair amount. But when we get to see a flop, it's nice. This is a good hand to play like 6-way. And then we just like fold on a lot of flops. But this and a lot of like low pairs are hands we want to limp along with. But for the most part, if there's a bunch of limpers, we kind of want to avoid it. And then like, yeah, so this is why hands like the objectively strong hand like the ace-10, like sometimes people just have queen deuce and they like flop it on you and you're sad. This is almost good enough to raise. We should raise it occasionally, so we're going to raise it now because we're kind of bored sitting on just 2 tables. It seems like a somewhat reasonable way to randomize. By somewhat reasonable, I mean not very reasonable at all, but okay. We phase a min bet. We're going to call with bottom pair, and we spike bottom pair over here. We hit 2 pair, and we're going to lead, because a lot of times people min bet, they will just check behind. And then we get counterfeited. So we have top pair, so we're going to lead a little bit smaller. I think we're going to get value from jacks. If they jam on us, we're going to assume they have an 8. Can't really go for value here in the bottom left. We'll just get called by too much. Stuff that either has enormous amounts of equity and we can't play very well as post. We're just going to look to check and maybe call a bet. If this guy bets and then this guy folds, we'll call. But mainly looking to fold. So if this guy calls, that's a little less than half pot. If this guy calls, we'll fold. Okay, we'll just fold. And sometimes maybe this guy has ace high, but yeah, so we should have called. Or no, wait, did he have a flush? Yeah, he had an ace high flush, so we dodged a bullet there, I guess. Well, I mean, I know. Gonna look to sit another hyper turbo. And expecting the lag as we reg. Did not lag, which is nice. And we will be playing basically until this table here on the bottom left finishes, because this is our slowest table. But yeah, the thing with the hypers is you have to be able to know how to play short stack at like various stages. Initially you're doing like a lot of like raising and then playing a little bit post, but like 2 streets is enough to get it all in if you're betting big. And so it's a little bit that style of play. And then you have to know when to jam, and then also know a little bit of the ICM. I'm not very good at the ICM math, but like I understand it conceptually, and I know it's a thing where it's much better to be shoving a hand than calling a hand, for example, even if it's like the same hand, because even though your equity doesn't necessarily change, the like ICM or your EV in terms of chips doesn't change, your EV in terms of the tournament changes, because if you are not currently in the money on these hypers, just living to fight another day is much better than just doubling your chips. And so that's kind of like the trade-off in an all-in. And first of 7 now down in the bottom left. Again, probably not paying as close attention as we should to the way these guys are playing. We can kind of, generally speaking, these 9 people play better on the hypers than they do on these 9-handed slow tables, where you kind of just play tight and people just punt off chips a lot, and sometimes you run into it when you think they're punting, but that's like just kind of how it is. Most of the time they're just punting. Like the person who punted us, the reason why we're number 1 in chips is not because we've been playing stellar poker, it's because someone punted off to us when we had a really strong hand and we just went with it. I think we had kings, and they like spiked bottom pair and they like ripped it or something. Ace-6 is probably a decent hand to squeeze with, but this guy is done, I think, squeezes twice. This is like his second time like looking like a squeeze. I'm just gonna fold though. Even understanding that he can be doing that a little bit light. We probably should have called with 7 deuce or 7-10 off, maybe. I don't know. Gotta be raising with this ace-queen in the bottom right. If someone rips it in, we're gonna call, because we will generally be ahead of people's ripping range. If someone just like, I don't know if we're supposed to bluff. So in general, this would be a type of flop that I would want to bet with the ace-queen, but we're gonna bet really small, and then kind of fold if we get raised. This is a kind of flop we would want to bet, but I don't know if it's correct to bet it into 3 people. We will continue, so this is not a card we continue on. We would continue if a heart comes, or if a Broadway card comes that gives us draw, but into 2 callers, I think I'm happy to check fold, and we only spent a 1/3 pot bet on there. And maybe if this guy bets and this guy folds and the bet's small, we're gonna call, but, should we bluff here? I think we should not. I think people are gonna get sticky. Or people just generally get sticky as like a population thing. We're just gonna check fold. Especially because a lot of the hands you can call on this flop, where it's like king 9, will also include a jack, so we got a nice price on our bluff, but we would raise this if we were deeper stacked, but we're not going to raise it here, and we're going to min raise this here. Interesting. This guy 3x's from pretty like middle-ish position, and we have to decide whether we want to 3-bet or we're going to 3-bet. A little less than 3x is open, and we could probably rip this. Yeah, it's not a rip for that much, except over this guy. And this guy folds. We've been pretty tight overall here, so... Queen Jack off is a hand we could raise if we were the first one in, but we don't want to. And Ace-6 will have pretty good equity against whatever this guy's, like, 7 big blind, like, calling range should be, but people don't call as wide as they should, so I expect if people call, we'll be in bad shape. But the ace, when we have an ace, it's harder for them to have an ace, so we have a lot of fold equity, and Ace-6 plays really poorly post-flop. If this guy limps, we'll rip over. If someone min raises, we'll call. This is kind of how we're going to play this 4-5 suited. And we'll just check with the 6-2 suited and realize some equity. We have backdoor flush, but this is probably not enough to like want to do anything. I think we're going to rip it in 4-5 suited. Kind of a high variance play. I'm expecting this guy to fold a lot and this guy to fold a medium amount, and then we play decently like post. We have like decent equity, so like yeah, we have plenty of equity against this guy. He's got too many outs, so he's obviously gonna brick. Just kidding. I thought he had too many outs. Like when they have 4 outs, then you got to be scared. But when they have, you know, what was that? 14 outs. That's too many. So we're gonna rip over here with the king. In general, like, we don't want to limp along. We want to have some fold equity. We block kings they can have, and when we pick up 2 big blinds, that's kind of a big deal when we have an 8 big blind stack. We increased our stack by a large chunk. We're going to rip it in. So this is the thing. This is like kind of... when, as a population, a lot of these people are limping, and so when they raise, generally they have really strong hands, and so while this is a hand we would want to rip in the top right corner, we're just going to fold here. Just because generally, like, especially the 3x raising range is just really strong. Or if people do more than 3x, it's often like 9s through jacks type hands, where you like really value the protection and not seeing a flop. Or it's aces a lot. It's kind of what it's at with the big king. If we were on the button, we would play this, but we're not going to from here. And it looks like we're just going to be checking. Interesting to see this guy not squeeze. He's been doing that play a couple of times. And we flop basically no equity. So we're just going to be folding over here. Interesting, this guy uses custom bet sizing. Okay, we can rip it in the top right for 5 big blinds with the ace-6. We're generally not happy to see a call, but we might be ahead of some things. We're going to raise in the bottom left with the 3s. Yeah, so we're in bad shape. We flop a decent amount of draws, but we lose. So we're just going to check and fold the 3s. He'll check back a lot of kings in the bottom left, or that's what his checking range should look like, so we're going to like check fold even more. And we got a call in the top right. Not because we love our hand, but because we already have all our chips in. Oh, and our queen is fucking no good. Oh, and we're going to split the pot 3 ways. That's insane. That's hilarious. Okay, decent hand. Pretty happy for that. This guy 3x's in the bottom left. We're just going to fold. We're going to all in with our ace-8. And we are going to look to sign up for another... Well, actually, let's not look to sign up for another. I wanted to sign up for another one, but we're going to fold in the bottom right. And so this guy in the top right, this guy before was min-raising, and now he just open limps. I think he just has to call off, but like I kind of want to rip it in with the ace-8. I guess we just kind of fold it, but I don't think he's got a balanced range when he's doing that, so maybe we should have ripped. We are going to open another table because we're going to be out soon. And worst case scenario, I play it behind me. Or behind where my picture is, I guess. Oh yes, still recording. We're about 30 minutes in. This fantastic hand to rip it in with the 9s. I don't think we can play ace-5 from this early position. Don't really want to attack the blind of the stack leader or the chip leader either. So, whoa, this is rough, getting dealed to 7-5. We just have to go with everything. Oh, and we get, like, brutalized. We will sign up for another. So we have 2 tournaments waiting, or 2 sit-and-goes waiting, and we bombed out of 1. The 7 deuce, I think we will fold, even though we only have 3 blinds, because this guy behind us also has to call. I don't know if that's correct. And we will record that we lost the hyper over here. So, King Jack will play, might be comeback time. We'll just fold to the min raise with the queen, or the whatever, 9. So King Jack does make it. We've gotten to a point where it's super volatile, and we are lagging, which is not good. Yeah, so super volatile in this top right corner, because obviously everyone's short stacked, so it is what it is. We're going to be shipping it, I think. The min raise is a little scarier, and maybe we can fold when this guy jams over, but I guess we can fold to that. I'm not 100% sure that's correct. We have 1 limper. I kind of like open jamming these, like ace rags when someone does this. We're not going to do it here, though. If this guy folds, we're going to rip with the jack 6. We can only play shove or fold. And I think we don't want to call too much, because now there's only 1 person remaining. And as we get a larger stack relative to him, we have to play more and more cautiously because of the ICM. We will rip in the king 9. Pretty nice kind of string of hands on this upper right. Just get extraordinarily lucky. And our other tournament fires, which is not kind of what we wanted. And we are going to fold the 7-8, which I think is incorrect from a chip perspective, but I think is correct with that when you consider the ICM as well. And ace-queen is going to be good enough to rip it in. Especially nice that this guy's going to be coming along. In the bottom right, we're going to fold the king 9. We hit the queen. Very nice. No kings on the river, please. Okay, cool. And we are in the money again on another table. This guy is a 3x raiser, so I don't think he's used to playing heads up. So it's something to keep in mind. I think we can rip the jack 7 suited, or jack 7 off. And he's got ace king, so we gotta get lucky here. And we don't. Okay. Little unlucky to run into it, but extremely lucky to have that like crazy string. This is kind of want to open jam this, the 10s. Instead, we're just gonna raise and then rip it in over any sort of action, and then we will record our second place. And he calls and then leads on this ace high board. We're going to call and then we're going to look to fold. Yeah. Also, as a population read, these people are like, they almost never, yeah, he's got fucking okay. People rarely lead with a bad hand. The only reason we called was because we had the 10 of spades, so we had some backdoor equity. And then people are almost never betting pot with a bad hand. And so it's just like very exploitable where you can just fold to these pot bets more than you like otherwise would be able to. We get min raised. I always hate it when we get min raised because I'm never sure how to play it. I think with this ace 6, which is probably one of the weakest aces we want to be raising, and aces especially, we're just going to fold to the min raise, but like it feels bad. Also against the short stack, it's like, or I mean not the short stack, the big stack. In the money in the bottom left is third place, so we are going to raise our button here, and we are going to raise our, we're going to open down here. If someone 3-bets us, we might have to jam. This is one of the weakest aces we bet from under the gun, so there's some merit to checking it back, but since I think he's going to have a piece of something a lot, we're going to bet half pot instead. Also because it's a really wet board. Now we're going to look to check back. We have 2 pair. If he has a jack, we're in bad shape. The flush comes in. We're going to look to get a little bit of value from someone just being a little sticky. In the bottom left, we are going to rip it in over the limp with the suited ace. Pretty standard. He is short enough that like bip is like appropriate. And the stacks are starting to get short as well over here. Early limp. We'll just limp along. It's very exploitable. We flop kind of okay. So we might call a bet here. If there's a bet and a call, we will not. And then we're going to call in the bottom right with the 7-10. And again, we flop okay. This guy open limping an ace early. We're just going to play it passive. We were going to call in the bottom right. And then we are going to, now that we are hitting a card, we are going to raise. We have hit our gut shot, so we haven't. We're going to bet like we want to get it in by the river. We're going to min raise and look to get it in pre on the bottom left. We get jammed on. This is fucking weird spot. We bet super small on the flop. What is it? 185 to go. I think we just have enough equity that we have to call. I didn't want to do the math. I mean, I thought it like stinks of an 8, but this guy leads on the jack-jack board, and we call it with an ace-king. And he bets third pot. I'm not buying this story. And now that an ace has come, we're going to look to call. Although we do know that leads tend to be a little bit stronger, so if he rips it in, we're like super sad, but we're just going to call. Oh, Queen 10, what a fucking weird play. He's just trying to get as cheap a bluff as possible, I guess. Yeah, the check raise on the turn just like stinks of value, but like it was, I was getting like, what was it, like 4 to 1 or 3 to 1? I don't know. I gotta get quicker with the maths there. I thought I had at least some outs, and I think I just have to call in this bottom left just mathematically, even though, yeah, he's gonna have like hands that are pretty good against us most of the time. I already had too much invested in terms of chips. We were gonna jam in the top right corner. Kind of run into a little bit, and then get lucky as hell. we're going to look to raise, call, or if someone's raising, we're going to jam over their action in the top right. Oh, gross. Oh, well, it happens. We're going to rip it in here with the queen 8 if it folds to us. We could play this as a raise fold, maybe, I guess. And this guy min raises from the button. We are going to 3-bet. We're going to 3-bet a little big, because we're going to be out of position post-flop. And we're going to rip it in the bottom right. Wild ride. And we get a fold. Oh, we really don't like this action down here. Hopefully we get a fold, but no, we get, well, we're in okay shape against, well, we were in okay shape against multiple aces. We're going to probably raise call here. And we brick out of another sit and go, which is okay. We are not going to tab out or update our thing until after we play these kings. In the bottom left, that is something we could open jam ourselves. I kind of don't like ripping it over the top of this guy, and I don't like folding. Really sad, big sad that we don't get any action with our kings. Started the day -10, so we're up a little bit. We're going to rip it in here with the ace 10. Could also just raise call, but I think we just have a ripping range against 5 big blinds. Unless we have aces or kings or queens, I guess, in which case we're min-raising exploitatively, but it looks so strong when people do that. Oh, no. Can even open limp with aces. Forget if we're playing a $5 9-man. We are. Okay. Yeah, we are playing micros, so if you thought this was for big money, it's not. We're going to rip over limps with the Jack 7. Ugh, gross. It's rare that we'll be dominated with these types of hands, and so... Okay, so we just need to rip in the 10-9. That's such a... I mean, good call on him, I guess. I don't necessarily like think he played bad or anything, it's just like, it's just gross. We're still in it though, I guess. I know you can construct a limp. The bottom left is an amount we're supposed to call off for 4, I think. I'm going to rip it in the top right. I'm going to click the time bank. And we don't have to worry about ICM, right? So I think we just have to call this off for 4 blinds. And we're going to have a split pot. Nope. Scoop it, which is nice. Nice to get a little bit of luck after getting a little bit of sad. I won't call it bad luck, but just some sad. We will check 5-4. The min raise. I think we just want to fold, and we get a min bet into us. A min bet lead, which is not what we like. We now have picked up some additional equity. And here we maybe want to... Guy bets half pot. I think this play is okay as call. If he rips it, we're going to fold, because people bet small on their draws and then rip them, like as a population thing. And we're just checking back. We will get it in with the ace, no matter what this guy in front of us does in the top right. Just because we need to chip up. This guy, yeah, should fold most of the time. And, oh, he hits the deuce. Disgusting. 6, please. No? Okay. Back to where we started, roughly speaking. Blinds are starting to get real big here. We are second in chips, and we are to the left of the chip leader, so it's pretty easy for us to avoid fighting him. And we are just looking to, especially as the next player gets eliminated, just kind of hold on to our chips and wait. Was that a limp 3-bet jam? What a baller. We're probably going to look to jam over action in the bottom left, even from the big stack. He has done some limping, so like when he raises it looks stronger, but our hand's just too strong. Maybe if he open jams we can fold, but we were going to fold the 5-3. We're going to min raise in the bottom right if it folds to us. If we were deeper stacked, we would not want to min raise queen 9 offsuit, or we would not want to open queen 9 offsuit, but since we're short, having a queen is more valuable than having like suited cards. The shorter stacked you are, the more important high cards are. Big lick down in the bottom left, the good old 9-6. I guess we'll just raise fold this. Probably a little bit loose, but we've been playing pretty tight on this table, so I think we could do it. Do we want to bet this? I think we do. We're going to bet a third pot, which we generally do on these type of paired boards, and look to barrel whenever... Yeah, we're going to look to barrel whenever any sort of draw, straight draw came in with the... Because we had both sides of the... we had 6-9 and there was a 7, so if either an 8 or a 10 comes in, we would barrel with the hand. And then we would give up on other cards or check turn and then maybe bet river, depending on how things turn out. Could raise this if we were a little bit later position, but we're not, so... Jack's in the top right. I hate this hand. It's impossible to play correctly. Ever. We will just look to get it in if someone raises us, and then just be sad. We get min-raised by the stack leader. I think I'm okay with just folding. Yeah. Okay, we are going to bet kind of big on this flop. We want to bet to protect. We expect people to rip in the 8s and the 7s quite a bit, but what can you do? I don't know if we're supposed to jam or raise call. We're definitely happy to get in with the ace-queen, but we're going to raise call in the bottom left. And this is an okay hand to check. It's also be okay to bet. We're going to check call. Check call the jam. So we have a population read that people are less likely to do this with just complete air balls. So I think he either has a 6 or a 9, because I don't think you just rip it in with a king. I think plenty of 6s and 9s will call. We have a lot of better hands to do this, because we will check some kings and a lot of 9s and a lot of 6s. And we could also have ace king, ace jack, all that stuff with a heart, which would also function as a better call. So I think we could just fold in the bottom left. Even though, like, we have a hand that you could reasonably call with, we're just going to fold it. We haven't felt that this guy's gotten super out of line against us anyways to begin with, so... we're going to jam over action from this gentleman because we do not want to, like, really play pots with him because he can just abuse the crap out of us. In the bottom right, the king, this is like as weak as our jamming range comes, and we get a call, which is unfortunate because we're going to be in bad shape. And now the question is, do we want to jam? Oh, he has aces. Jesus. And then on the bottom left, the question was, do we want to raise, call, or just jam? And I think we just want to open jam this hand. Hard to play post. More than happy to get in with free, though. And now we are in bad shape in the bottom right after getting picked off by aces, which just happens sometimes. One of the reasons you, like, start jamming your king rags and ace rags pretty early is because they have really nice removal, because if you have an ace or king, it makes it really hard for them to have aces and kings, or various types of aces and kings hands, which are, like, kind of what you want to call with. Ooh, baby, the min raise. Min raises are terrifying in this, like, people do not very often min raise with, like, just donk nothing hands. We are going to jam for 3 blinds from under the gun with king 8. And just hope we don't get snapped by aces again, I guess. 5-4 off. I kind of like getting dealt bad hands because they're really easy to play. If this guy raises, we'll just fold. In general, like, you don't want to raise too much from the small blind, but I'm getting the feeling that he is leaning on us now because he's the chip leader and we're second in chips, so in general we don't want to tangle with him. This guy min-raised before, he min-raised the other hand. I think we just come in for a flat. I don't hate jamming either, but I think this way we keep aces that dominate him in the range. And we are just going to flat here on this super dry ace board when this person min-bets. Jack 6, we're just going to fold here. We are going to look to raise a min bet, and we can bet like half pot or something. We want to get all in by the river with our ace. Okay. We will raise if it folds to us here. And maybe we should have open jammed actually with this Jack 7. The thing is, I don't want to jam for that much on the red player, but I don't mind jamming on the guys who only have 6 big blinds. The blinds are starting to get extremely large in the ring game, which the ring is the 9-player game. We are going to jam if it folds to us with the Jack 4. If this guy raises, we will just fold. And now we have a hand that we don't like because... Okay. We will just fold this Jack 4. We didn't like the 6s, not because they're not good, but because we really don't want to play a big pot with the guy to the left of us, and, like, he's been raising a lot of our blinds. We're going to rip it in with the 5s. Although, he's not so much bigger stack than us, well, he has, I think he's been attacking our blind kind of aggressively. I kind of wanted to play this queen 9, but we are just going to fold. We don't want to tangle with this guy too much. Like, objectively speaking, we might just think we're better than him post, and, like, that might be a reason for wanting to tangle. Oh, I kind of want to rip it. I think this is just slightly too weak to rip it in for 10 from the cutoff. Like, we could rip into the other 2 players, but not this 9 seat, I think. Oh, and he wanted to get it all in anyways. Yeah, we would have been crushed. Very fortuitous. This guy rips it in the top right, so we just have to call. And we have a ton of equity with with the 6-7. Probably too many outs, though. I guess not. So much for my too many outs thesis. We're just going to rip it in with the 7-9 with for 1.5 big blinds, just because we want to be the first one in. Interesting. This guy min raises. I think we're going to call with the queen 10 off. And this guy switches to a 3x raise. So this guy's been min raising and now he's 3x raising. I don't know what's up with that exactly. And now we hit 5-7-7 board. So we're probably check folding, which feels kind of bad, but what can you do? Yeah, we're going to fold 3-way. And we are out. In the bottom right. I didn't see what happened, but, you know, I'm sure we got it in terrible, like we normally do. Okay. Do we want to jam? I think we want to raise fold here. This guy has jammed over our raise before, but he's also just allowed to have good hands. Do we want to attack the blind of the big stack? Probably not. Jack 5 suit is kind of a borderline hand, but we raise it because this guy's basically like, we're trying to get it in against him. And so it's almost like we're playing on the button, but in Jack 5 suited, we would play that on the button, kind of with these shorter stacks, but this guy jams. And you're still playing ace queen. Wild. Okay, we have a new chip leader. Or did he slow play? I didn't see the action on this bottom left. Top right, we get 8-10 off, which will probably defend against a min raise. Against the open jam here, we are just going to fold. I think this guy knows how to play, which we are less happy with him being the big stack. 8-10 suited, I don't want to call this off, but yeah, we really don't like him being the big stack, but hopefully we can money still. Oh, he just ripped in ace king. Maybe he's not as good as we think. Okay, well, I am going to all in the king for this 3 blinds. And we hit money. And we're in excellent shape in the upper right. We are going to look to raise and maybe call this guy, but definitely fold to this guy if he jams. So they will, this is a flop where we can really just punish people because they often have a rejamming range that includes aces. So they'll be really weak on these ace high flops, and we'll have quite a strong range because we are calling a lot of our really strong aces. So at that point we are just betting every ace high flop, and we are going to rip in over a lot of action here. I'm not sure if we're supposed to rip with the ace 10. Alright, well, we're ripping in over what this guy's doing. I think the ace 10 is supposed to be playing as a raise call, or it's probably okay as a jam. I just don't know. Too many outs. Yeah. So I think we have to call jam from either one of these guys. We're going to stop and go this guy, which means we're going to just call, and as long as an ace doesn't come, we're going to jam. Or we pair a queen, so I kind of just like check jamming instead. Alright, now we're going to jam. I'm not sure what he's checking back with, or what the plan is there. I'm going to fold the deuce 7. This guy 3x's, so this guy hasn't been 3xing much. We got to call. I guess we could just call and like see how things are. Okay, I guess we're going with our hand because we just have so much equity. We're just going to check jam. We hope this guy doesn't jam because that's just kind of sick. And we're gonna, this is good enough to jam. Oh, Jesus. I'm shocked that that bet got through on the bottom left. We're gonna fold because he's probably mad. Alright, well, we're folding if this guy raises. Do we jam this for 8 blinds? I think we can. Certainly doesn't play very good as a raise, because I think we have to fold it when we get jammed on, just because of population reasons. We're going to rip this over a limp and we're going to call it jam. Not like exactly looking to play post. Oh, gross. Oh, gross for him. That sucks. That's like he's protecting his limping range and everything. Dirty, dirty. I guess we're going to unregister from... This guy open limps in the bottom left, which he has not been doing at all. So now we're just super spooked, to be honest. We're just gonna fold to a bet. Yeah. I think I got first in that last one. We're just gonna fold this, and then I think I got first. Yeah, because he got unlucky, like, trying to trap with queens and then just getting pelted in the face. And now we're down to this one table. We are not going to be opening any other tables. Yeah. Just because this table is almost done here. Or, let's keep it where it was, I guess. Can we make it easier or better to view? I'm fucking... No, I don't want to do that because I don't have a brain aneurysm. Alright, well, it looks like we're going to ladder. Oh, this is hilarious that they... Queen 10 on Queen 10 violence here. We're now very deep. If this guy limps again, I think we check. Do we call this for 7? Probably not. We want to be the one ripping in. So let's see, how many big blinds this guy has? Was this like 16 or something? And this guy's got not a lot. So we're going to rip in here for like 8 big blinds or 7 blinds. And we don't want to be ripping on this guy. We will call this guy's rip, I think. Actually, this would have been a rip. Oh well. So we assume he's not going to have as many aces in his calling range, so we're actually going to bet like a medium, like half pot for protection. And then we're going to look to check back rivers and just be agonized, or check back turns and just be agonized on the river when he has like a super good bluff opportunity, but he just folds. I don't know if he's always limping now. Oh, we just flopped the nuts? Okay, well. We're just gonna check back again. And look to raise river. He's never calling here, but... maybe we should have bet the flop. I don't know. We're gonna rip in with the ace jack. We are not the big stack. Is this a rip? I think it is. It's a stressful rip. Because when we get picked off, we're just in terrible shape. Like with those types of hands. But like that's playing as a bluff. They play poorly post. Again, we're gonna just defend. Okay, we're gonna call here. With like unlimited equity. Actually, we're gonna bet small, and then if he doesn't raise, we're gonna like jam the turn. We just have so much equity there. I think we're gonna fold here. Yeah, we're definitely gonna fold and hope we just ladder and get heads up. Although in theory, this guy has to play more passively against us the longer this guy's in here, so we can actually start jamming over his raises if we think he understands the ICM implications of stuff, which, I don't know, is maybe a bit much. We can jam this for 11 big blinds. Again, we're sad if we get snapped off, but we are accumulating, which is very much the point. Queen 4. We're gonna jam if he limps. Might jam if he raises. What do we do if he min raises? Okay, cool. And so something we can do is we could actually like fold to this guy more than we ought to. We're not going to do it with King 10, but by doing that and keeping him in the thing, we put more ICM pressure on this other guy. Unlucky. We've gotten some lucky all-ins. Or we've won a lot of all-ins. I mean, we've also lost a lot. We've just had a lot. But some little heads-up action. We are about 10 blinds deep when you consider the antes. So we want to keep that in mind for our ripping, raise folding, raise calling ranges. Almost done with this session. 6-5 is not going to be good enough for a call. And he has still got this min-raise strategy, which I think we can just jam over the top of at a pretty good frequency. This is probably, like, we could probably play this as a raise call, but I like it better as a jam. And he has 8s. And just blast it. That sucks. So we win. Bad for him. Wow, we only get 22 for that? That's crazy. Alright, so we're up like 25 on the day, $25. Little fun, little cheeky first timer with the, what is this? The OBS, trying to track our poker. I think we like lagged really hard at some point. We're lagging a little bit now. Hopefully that came out okay. We'll see how it comes out in the recording when I watch it back later. I'm going to upload it either way, I think, and just apologize for the lag. Yeah, if you have comments, feedback, requests, anything like that, feel free to let me know, and have a good one.